Hello, and welcome here to week 9 in this year's 100-day project. And if you just have hit this video and think, what are she talking about? I'm talking about a yearly challenge that is worldwide, and you can do whatever you fancy to do in 100 days in a row. And this year the challenge started the 22nd of February. But here under the little word more under the video, or in the description box, depending on how your device is, you can find more info, and you can find a link to the playlist where the 8 other weeks are lying as videos, and there also are links for last year and the year before that's video. This year is the 8th time I'm doing it, and I really like doing this challenge. I think there was only one year where I got a little bored, but there's things you can do to prevent that, and I can talk a little about that later. But this year I have decided to go round and use a little watercolor circle. It is 12 centimeter in diameter, and until now I have kept all the other weeks, the 8 weeks in this here, but I'm growing out of it, and I haven't done anything by the box yet, but I will have to do something. But I have been so busy here the last 14 days, and I'm busy here again. I'm going to teach this a lot here this spring, so yeah, there's a lot to look at for me. But away with that box here, and this is the materials I will use here this week. But shortly, my name is Lisbeth. I'm a Danish abstract mixed media artist who likes to do many different things. And again, look at the little word more and find the playlist with subjects that interest you. If you're into slow stitching or stitching, look for videos or titles by the playlist with that name. Or if you're into jelly printing, look for that, or bookbinding and other techniques. And yeah, there's a lot of different things. It is, yeah, I think this summer here, it is I have had this channel for 4 years, so there's a lot to look at. And if you want to support me, I had a Ko-fi account, and there also is a link below that. But in any way, don't feel obligated. But and I don't like to talk much about it. But if I don't say anything, nobody perhaps will see that I have such a thing. And I have been encouraged by some of the members in my embroidery group to make it that. And for those of you who has been supporting me that way, thank you very much. Very, very kind of you, and I appreciate it very much. Yeah, enough of me talking. Let us get started with day 57, and it is the 19th of April today. I just brought you in a little closer so you better can see what I'm doing. But all my fabrics are lying here, and this week here I'm going turquoisey, moody turquoisey, bluish colors. And I found this little interesting piece, so I think I want that somewhere in my piece here. And then I also have this piece here I would like to use. And what else can I come up with? Yeah. No, I don't like that. And I don't like that with that. What about this one here? Yeah, I think this is better. I will go with these two, and then I can place that on the top. And I just have an old, that's left of an old book that was bound, so I just use that for gluing. So I will just, yeah, which one do I want to glue down first? I think I want to glue down this one first, and then lap this over there, because this edge is already frayed nicely. So I will just take my glue stick, and I have no bad feelings about using glue stick and fabric this way. It's a mixed media piece, and I am stitching in it also, and I don't mind at all because I let the glue dry before I stitch into it. It's not nice to stitch into wet glue, but yeah, it just takes a couple of minutes and then it's dry. But of course you can use another medium to glue your fabric down if you want, but for the sake of the video, and it isn't a museum piece I'm making, I will just use my glue stick. There and there. And now I can remove this here and just rub it really nice. And I'm gluing on the paper because now I'm cutting all the overhang off, and if I put glue here on the fabric I would have to cut into the glue, and that's, even though it's dry, perhaps it's not nice. It's better to do it this way, I think. But again, you do you, and I do me. Here I am putting it on the glue because, and I am not on the glue, on the fabric, because it's just such a small piece, and I'm going to place it there. So that would have to dry, and that takes a couple of minutes. And pardon my finger, I have been sewing so much, so all my skin is nearly falling off, and it hurts when I got a needle to touch it. I bought these small ones, and they have this color. It's not because it's very dirty. It was born that color. Not the nicest color perhaps, but I think it's in its way, and I can't use a thimble. Even though I'm a very big lady, I have small fingers and a small nose too. All the rest of me is much bigger, but I can't work with a thimble. Yeah, this will dry and I will be back. I think it is so dry now, so I can cut it. So I just follow the watercolor paper here and take it slowly, taking care so I don't cut into the watercolor paper. Away with that. That is even too small for my work. So here it is, looking quite fine. I have this summer, it was the last year. I have a plant in my garden. It's in a pot on my terrace, and I think it is called hydrangea, but I'm not sure. And I've saved some of these here and dried them, and they are very, very brittle. But I would like to use them here. So I think I will glue such a thing down there, and I will glue it down with matte medium, because then I can glue it down and then I can seal it afterwards. But before that would be the last thing I'm doing, so I just want to do some stitching before that. So I will just place that in a safe place here, so I don't ruin it. So I will find some thread and my needle and figure out what I want to embroider on this one. Yeah, I will use this color thread here. It is a mercerized cotton from a Dutch brand called Venne, and I think last week I told you more about it and showed you a color card. But I think I will just do a cluster of specklings, or in English they are called seed stitches. And you can pre-poke if you want to, or you can just go for it. But I have this tool here. You can also use a cork where you put a needle up in and give it a dab of glue. But my hobby has made this one for me. It's apart from an old compass and a needle, and I can change the needle. And I really like it, and I use it a lot. But you don't need to have such a thing to stitch into paper. You just take a cork and put a needle up and give it a dab of glue, and then you have nice things to punch with. I think people who are lace making, they have a tool nearly like this, not with a compass part, but where the thin needle is going up in a wooden handle. If you're lace making, you perhaps have such a thing, but you can see the way I'm doing it here. I'm just doing it with my needle here. That is fine. And this is just small straight stitches placed totally random. It's like somebody has taken a handful of rice and just sprinkle them out, and you sew a stitch where the rice, or it could be pearls, land. You could do that if you are one of these persons who have hard times doing anything random. I know I have many students during my time here as a teacher, and once in a while I meet somebody who really has a hard time doing this stitch. It's not that they can't do a straight stitch, because they can, but all their stitches ends up lying the same way. And yeah, that's the tricky part about this, I think. But I will stitch a little more, and then I will show you how I glue the hydrangea on. And pardon me if I ain't pronouncing the flower right. We buy them as houseplants, and because sometimes our winters are quite mild here. They're not this winter. We have really got a lot of snow. Yeah, not compared to Canada or Norway or so, but compared to the last many years of winters here in Denmark, we have got a lot of snow. So I don't, and that also means it has been -degrees. So I have a couple of them standing outside, and if they will survive here this spring, I don't know yet, but I'll see. Yeah, enough of me talking, and I will be back. So done with the stitching, and for the life of me I can't find my normal tape, so I will just go in here and secure it that way, and when I found my tape again, I will glue that down. Or yeah, I have this medical kind of tape. Perhaps I can take a bit of that. Yeah, I can. And just oops. Just use that, so it ain't running anywhere. So that was that. And now for the gluing of the hydrangea. Away with that, and that's. I have a bottle here of matte medium, and this is fluid, so it is even more runnier than matte medium, but use what you have. You could also use gloss medium if that is what you have. Yeah. Here is my piece, and there. So I will just give it a dab here, and I know it looks quite strange putting such a thing on fabric, but I don't mind. It will dry up totally clear. And then I will just place it here and give it a little more there. And it's like it is softening up the dried flower. But use a soft pencil, not pencil, oh, I said it again. A soft brush, like that. And you could also use your finger. And you can see there's a shadow there, but it would, no, that's not enough. We will do it again. That was perhaps too much. Yeah. It would take a little longer to dry, but that's the way I do it. And perhaps this medium also prevent the things to change color, but in fact I don't know. But this is how it's gonna be. And now I can't turn it over and write the date and the day here on the back, but I will do that when it's dry. But this is how day 57 turned out, and I think it is quite fine. So see you again tomorrow. Hi. Good morning and welcome to day 58, and not to do the same mistake as yesterday, I think I just will write it here on the back and hope I won't hit it with my stitching, but because I will be gluing that hydrangea on, and then it would have to dry. And it is the 20th of April. My mom has birthday tomorrow. She will turn 92. That's quite amazing. But nice. So let us see. I have these two patches here I want to use. So where is my book? It is here. So I will just find my glue stick and there. I want the least of the yellow I can get, so I will just tip it that way. And here, go. Yeah. That, yeah, and the other side. Yeah. And I know I can see the paper here through, but I have a strip of something I want to put over. So I think I can remove this. And then there was this strip, and I think I want, yeah, what do I want? This here is cut with a rotary cutter, and this one I think is torn. So perhaps I can, yeah, we'll see what happens. Sorry for the noise. That was a better size. And perhaps it needs to be ironed, but it would go away as soon as I start gluing it down. And here I will put glue on the fabric. And it is nearly like ironing. And put that here. There. And that has to dry. And then I have this piece here I want to put on somewhere, but it is hard to see where and how as long as I haven't cut the overhang off. So I will just let it sit for a little and cut it off, and you have seen me done that many times, and then I will be back and decide if I want all of this or a part of it, and or how. Yeah, I have cut it off, and I think I perhaps just want a smaller strip there, and then I will take these here. They are really brittle, and think I will go for that way here. So I will secure that over there and cut this. Sorry, noise again. There's noise everywhere I am. If you ask my hobby, I don't know why he always say that I can be very quiet when I'm working and sitting here by myself, but when he talks about it, it always sounds like I'm running around screaming in the house, and I ain't. There, like that. Yes, and glue one with this. Now my last signature on this book is falling totally apart. I have another one I can start. It's just some old books I buy cheap in our local Red Cross shop. They will, yeah, maybe it's a little sad that I use it that way, but thousands and thousands and thousands of books are being destroyed or burned every day. I can't remember here in Denmark how many books there are published every day, but it's really a lot of books, and the life of a book today is so short. Yeah, but that was another story. So let me see how that looks. There. And then I have to figure out what kind of stitches I want to do. Perhaps but just French knots here in that area, or yeah, what else can I do? I will think a little. I will take the darkest of my turquoise thread and use that. And by the way, isn't it incredible? I've been showering and I decided not to take this off until it falls off by itself, so I'll see how many days it will be sitting there. So, now for the French knots, and this is the way I do it. I take my needle like this, and then I wrap or turn my thread around, and I think I will do it 7 times. And normally you will go down nearly in the same hole if you're doing it in fabric. But I'm doing it in paper, so I will go down in exact the same hole. And that is why I also make a lot of turns, so I'll make a quite big knot. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And keep my tension on my thread. Go down here. And a fine little knot, and I will just drizzle them all over here on this side here. Now you have a lesson in counting in Danish. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Keep the tension with your thumb, go down in the same hole there, and carefully pull your thread through. Don't rush it through, just take it slowly and see to that there is no knots on your thread. Again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Keep my tension and going into the same hole there, and slowly pull your thread through here. Whoopsie, and another little French knot. I like these knots. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And in the same hole, keep the tension. There. And some of them ends up a little wonky or a little crooked, but I don't mind that. I will do a couple more of them and then I will glue the hydrangea on. Yeah, and that is exactly what I was meaning by not having kinks and knots on your thread. I really like these frayed edges here, and I even encourage it a little more. So now onto the gluing of the flower here. Yeah, I don't think it matters very much which direction. So again, I will put a blob of matte medium, and it shows like a lot, and it is, but that's the only way to get the flower to sit and soften the dried leaf, or petals, I think they are called. You can use your finger, but a soft brush and take care, and then it will be good. And I think, yes, I know, I don't think I know already that the one from yesterday here, you can see it is dry, and now I can do it like this and it won't ruin. So I can write, of course, there on the back. Oh, and what was it yesterday? It was was it 57? I said, yeah. And it was the 19th of April 2026. And I know some of you write it otherwise than that are not like I do. So this would be the same, and it has to dry also, and it dries quite pretty fast. So this is how this ended up. So bye bye and see you tomorrow. Hi and welcome to day 59, and this is how the piece looked up, and it is dry now, but it's so I can write here on the back day 59, and it is the 21st of April 2026. Yeah, and it's my mom's birthday today. She turns 92. Yeah, but she's still fit for fight, even though she have some troubles, but not more than she do everything herself still in her home, and that is nice for me. So only 3 petals on here, and a line of chain stitches, and there was this pattern here on the fabric, so that is, this gave me the idea for that. But that is all here for today. But take care, and I will see you tomorrow. Hi, I have been up early and I already made my piece today. So this is dry now. So and I have already written on the back day 60, and it was the 22nd of April. And here I had a little piece there with some frayed edges, and here I have sewn some narrow long cross stitches and 2 different kind of fabrics. And most of the fabrics, not all of them, but many of my fabrics here in this challenge is small pieces of leftovers I got from my friend Tina, and I really appreciate them very much, and I'm happy to know her. So she helps me with things, and I got all these small bits and bobs and of fabric pieces from her. Really enjoying it. So this was this day, and I'm on the horse again tomorrow. Bye bye. Hi, and welcome here again in my turquoisey universe here. This is how this look for day 61. That little hydrangea there, some frayed, lovely frayed edges, and a row of feather stitches. This is quite strong colored compared to some of the others, but I think it's nice with a match of a little different turquoisey things. So day 61. There. So here we go. Bye bye. Hi, and welcome to day 62. And yeah, it's so dry I can write. Day 62, and it is 24th of April 2026. Yeah, and there are 8 months to Christmas. What a stupid thing to say, but there is. This piece here I really like. There are 4 pieces of fabric here in this one, and I'll just make some rows of running stitches, and it's a little dark, so that helps with this light turquoisey one with some small dots on it. This one I really like, and so it must be. You can't love all your pieces the same when you're doing hundreds of them. It's not like your children. You have to love them all equally. You don't have to do that here. But I will see you tomorrow, and tomorrow I will do the whole process. Hi, and welcome to the last day in this month here, and it is day 63. And I found this piece here I think I want to use, and I have still some things left, but primarily it's this fabric, and I've used it several times, so I'll see if I can avoid it here in the last. Nay, I can't. I have not so many big. No, I don't like that. I will have to use this, even though I said no, I wouldn't. But just a bit of it. I think I will use as much of this as I can. And then I would. There, then I would have to let it go this way, so I ensure I have enough here. And do I want that piece there? I don't know yet. I think I will just glue this on there, and then the other piece on. So my glue book. Yeah, can't believe I'm already into week 19. I think this spring here has gone so quick. But again, I have had a lot of teaching and a lot of preparation for that. But I know I was talking about doing the 100-day challenge. As I said, I have done it. This is the eighth time. And the first time I did it, I made paper collages in a board sketchbooks. And I think I did something in a specific color scheme. And collaging with paper doesn't take very long for me. I know others can sit there for hours, but I can't. And I can remember I was never bored because at that point I didn't change anything up each week. There I just did whatever I fancied to do every day. But about the colors, but I think there's two things I think is important. One thing is, don't put too high pressure on yourself or too high a goal on yourself. Don't, as I said, bake a bigger bread than you can eat, so you end up with a success. It's always best to have success when you're doing something for so long time. Not if it's just for practicing if you're a painter or something. Then it's good to have failure, because you also learn from your failure. But that's not the same when you're doing a challenge where you have to do something for 100 days, for instance. To succeed and not drop out after 10 days or halfway through, it is important that you make the challenge manageable for you. And you can do that by setting some dogma rules for yourself. And that can, for instance, be don't do something that takes more than a quarter. Well, I don't know if you call it a quarter, and that means 15 minutes. Or only use a specific color scheme and change that once in a while, so you don't get bored of it either. Or if you're doing watercolor, you can say that this week here I'm only doing trees, or in this week I'm only doing a flower, or it could be anything what you want. So that's the things I think is important if you do this. And for me, every time something has happened, and you always get some new ideas, and that's why I come up with putting crazy things in my collages, for instance, or my small mixed media pieces, to do something so I don't get bored. Yeah, no, that was a lot of talking. I think I will go it this way here, like that. So I will glue this down, down, down. You will always learn something new about yourself when you participate in these challenges. You will definitely discover which colors you like and which colors you don't like. And you will also discover, for instance, that you don't like to use a glow stick. You would more prefer to use another media, or you like that brush compared to that brush. And you will discover many things about yourself. So that was that. So now I have these left, so let us find a big, nice one. And I think this one with 4 petals here. I think I want it there. But I won't glue it on until the last thing. So now I have to decide what on earth I'm going to stitch. And looking at it, I think I will do some elongated chain stitches, or I also like to call them chain stitches with a tail. But I can show you, but I will carefully remove this piece here and find a thread I can see. So I think I will go for this one here. But I will thread my needle and prepare myself, and then I can show you the stitch. So here we go. I just come up on the back and secured my thread. And yeah, now I can see it's not here. I have to come up. I have done it like I would have done pistol stitch, when it's not pistol stitches I'm doing. So I will just pre-poke a hole here. Yeah. And secure the thread. There. In fact, it works quite nice, this medical tape. I bought it on our local pharmacy. And then I go down in the same hole and see to that I have a loop here. And then I will just pre-poke a hole here and come up. Here, and that is how you make a chain stitch. And normally you will make the next stitch and the next and the next, but here instead I'll just go down here. And I've taken a pretty long thread because this way you need a longer thread. You need more thread here than you think, and that is because they are also long on the back side. Now I'm coming up here, so yeah, there we go. There and down in the same hole again. There, and a loop, and I will just pre-poke a hole here. In the loop. It looks like small tulip heads, I think, or small trees, so yeah, you can imagine it whatever you want to imagine there. And you can make them as long and short as you like. Now I have pre-poked both holes. Go down in the same hole, come up in the next, there, in the loop. I don't think I was in the loop. There, and go down wherever you want. How long you want that leg there. Pre-poke 2 holes again. Come up, go down, up in the next hole in line and in the loop. Sometimes it can be really unlucky and hit the thread, and then it would look not so good. There, they will look like that, but I will do a couple of more of them. So done with the stitching, and they look really nice. And before I do anything else here, and by that I mean gluing, I will write here day 63, and it is the 25th of April 2026. Yes, so I will find my matte medium and my brush and glue that little flower head down. So here we go with the gluing. It is much easier to have your medium in these bottles instead of in a big can or something. You can squeeze it out like this, and this is just some cheap bottles I buy. There. And give it a good amount. And you can of course use, oops, now it breaked. That was not good. On with some more medium here. And even though it is discolored there, it would disappear when it dries, so I'm not worried about that. And one thing to remember, as soon as you're done, put that in a glass of water or a bucket of water so you don't ruin your brushes. So blop blop, you can hear that now. So now this has to dry. But this is how day, the last day here in this week ended up, and I'm quite satisfied with it. So this is my box of leftovers, and now I have this left over here from this week here, so it will just go in here, and there are so many lovely yummy small pieces of fabric, so I will have enough for the rest of this year's challenge, I think. So they will just go in my wooden box here and would be ready for next week. So here they are, all 7 of them for week 9. And I have my box here, and perhaps since they are so flat, I can squeeze them in here. But this has to dry totally first. The other ones are totally bone dry, and I don't think they will break or bend or anything. So that was a nice week, this one. I really like the colors here. And I think that is what is good. So for me, it is give me the pleasure of doing this, and give me that I want to do this next week, because now and next week I don't know what will happen and what color scheme I will choose, or what a little different thing I will use for focal point, or what stitches I will use. So that is why it is exciting. But I hope you have liked my video here, and perhaps have learned some tips and tricks. And even though I know it is over halfway in this challenge, you can always do whatever you will. You don't have to follow the days. Set something for yourself and say, I want to do this or that. That's a nice way of having the pot in boil. So if you have liked what you have been seeing and enjoying my videos, please give my videos a thumbs up, and please consider subscribing my little Danish channel. That would be very much appreciated. Hit the notification bell, and give me a comment of what you think of my 100 days project this year. There are also hashtags here under, so you can go on Instagram and see what other people are doing this year. But else I don't think I will say much more than please be playing and having a great time, and stay creative. That is so good for our mental health. And stay safe, of course, and not but least of all, please be kind to everybody. Smile to everybody you meet. That is so nice. So bye for now, and see you again next Monday with another week. Hej, farvel, adieu, goodbye, auf Wiedersehen.